Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend this weekend. This is the first weekend that just passed that we didn't have any football. But this week is Super Bowl week. But today, we're not going to talk about the Super Bowl. Today, we're going to get into some little NBA news. Before we do that, though, I will tell you guys that I will have my picks for you guys either tomorrow or Wednesday for who's going to win the Super Bowl. But today, we're going to talk about some NBA news regarding former shooting guard slash small forward in the NBA, Tony Snell. Tony Snell was a role player in this league in the NBA, and he started out with the Bulls, and he's kind of, been out the league for a while. I think probably about 3 or 4 years now. Tony Snell's probably been out the league. Um, what came up with Tony Snell is he had a February 2nd deadline to sign a contract for the remainder of the season. His reason for signing a contract on February 2nd, which was the deadline, which that was Friday, today's Monday, his reason for that being was bigger than basketball. Tony Snell would have signed for the remainder of the season. That would have allowed him to secure a year of service for the Players Association Retirement's benefit program, which would cover health care for his whole family. Tony Snell has two sons diagnosed with autism spectrum disease. So he has two sons that's diagnosed with autism spectrum disease. Not only that, Tony Snell also has autism himself. So my thing is, with the NBA, this Tony Snell situation is way bigger than basketball. Way bigger. And he only wanted to be signed so he can get this healthcare benefit for his family, and so he could be good for the rest of his life if he gets a 10-year of service in the NBA. He just wanted to sign just because of that. He's not trying to sign to play basketball or anything, or say, hey, I want to play and I want to get this many minutes. No, he wanted to sign with the NBA team for his family and for his family's benefits to help him in his life, going through the rest of his life. My thing is this, with the NBA, they always say that they have these resources and that they care about these players outside of basketball, and that they care about these players and their family and what they have going on outside of hoops. But the truth about that is, you have a situation like what Tony Snell's in, and it's like the NBA. Y'all say all this good stuff on camera, on TV, on whatever, to juice up like y'all really care about these players and what they have going on, and like y'all are really trying to help these players outside of basketball. We are really not trying to help them. Y'all only care about y'all making money. That's it. Y'all don't care about these players and their well-being and what they have going on outside of hoops. Y'all will put out these statements saying, oh, we support these players and we'll do anything for them, and they know that we got their back and they could come and talk to us and get counseling and all this mental help. Y'all don't really care about them. It's just a money maker for y'all. That's it. And it's sad to say that, but y'all say the NBA is just one big family and everybody gets along, everybody's willing to help each other. Usually you would think that the NBA would be right on top of this and would be letting these teams know, hey, go sign this man so he can help out his family. That's what the NBA is for. As Mark Jones, NBA broadcaster, put it, NBA stands for never broke again. So go, y'all ain't even broke. Go help this man and his family. That you know what I'm saying? It's a lot more than basketball. These players have lives outside of basketball. They have family. They have priorities that they have to take care of outside of basketball. And this reminds us clearly about Tony Snell and his two sons, that even though Tony Snell plays basketball, when you step outside of basketball, it's still a life on the other side. And these guys are still human. And it's sad to see that these teams did not get out here and sign him. And you have plenty of bad teams out here like the Washington, Chicago, the Bulls. You have plenty of bad teams, San Antonio. You have plenty of bad teams that's not good, that's not even in the playoff hunt, that could have signed this man to at least a 10-day contract to help this man and his family. But these people, they don't care about these players and their well-being. And the NBA obviously don't care about the well-being of these players. They just care about the moneymaker. And it's sad that that's the reality that we face. And another thing about this is you see people like Tony Snell going through this stuff. That's a reminder that you don't never know what anybody has gone through in their life. So that's why people say always be kind to people, always be nice to people, always ask how people are doing. Because even though these guys are famous and they are rich, you don't never know what somebody might be going through in their life outside of sports or whatever it is that anybody might be doing. So it's just a reminder to be kind to people, reach out to people, ask people how they're doing, make sure they're good, check on these people's well-being. But this is a bad look on the NBA because this man really could use y'all help. And y'all didn't even want to help him. It's sad, but that's the world that we live in. I hope Tony Snell and his family the best because they need it right now. And it's sad and it's a bad look on the NBA, and I'm very disappointed in the NBA for that. Transitioning, other NBA news, we know that the NBA put in place 65 games that these players should play to get an award for like MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, all those good things. You have to play 65 games in order to qualify for that award. The problem is this got stuck when Joel Embiid got hurt last week, and a lot of people start speaking out about this 65 game minimum where he was trying to put himself out there to play even though he was hurt and he still played. Well, everybody spoke out saying, oh, he's trying to get MVP, he's trying to qualify for this award, so he has to play. He ends up getting hurt. All that is true, but as these NBA players like Draymond Green and Tyrese Halliburton speaking out on this, they're like, it's a shame that he has to go out there and play. He's clearly hurt. He has to meet the game minimum to try to get his end of the season awards. And yes, that is true. But these players, y'all signed off on this 65 game minimum to get these end of the season awards. Y'all signed off on this. So you can't really be mad at the NBA. You can only be mad at yourselves because the NBA and the NBA Players Association, y'all signed off on it. So if y'all didn't like this rule, why did y'all sign off on it? But the thing I don't like, it should not have took for somebody to get hurt for y'all to start speaking on this now. Why weren't y'all not speaking on this before Embiid was even hurt? Why y'all want to speak on it now? Tyrese Halliburton, you spoke out about it, and you only had, nothing was wrong with you. You only had a hamstring injury. You only had a hamstring injury, and now you're back. You're playing on a minutes restriction, but you only had a hamstring injury. That's it. Wasn't nothing really wrong with you like that. So you can quit your crying about trying to speak out on this rule, because you good. Joel Embiid, on the other hand, he can speak out more than anybody on it, because he has to have a procedure on his knee, and he's going to be out God knows how long. But these guys that are griping and complaining and crying about it, y'all don't have no reason to be crying. LeBron even spoke out about it. Y'all shouldn't be really saying anything because y'all the one agreed and signed off on it. If you don't like something, you don't sign off on it. That's like reading some contract and you haven't read the full thing and you just sign off on it. And you don't even know what the contract was saying. And then when something becomes messed up, well, they're gonna say, oh, well, you did put your signature on there. That's exactly what this is. You guys signed off on it, and that's the rule. And it took for somebody to get hurt, And everybody's throwing this big fit about this. All right. It sucks that Embiid got hurt. Injuries are a part of the game. But this rule was created to make sure that these players got out here to play, to encourage these players to play more. You had the Kawhi Leonards, the Paul George, those guys load managing, missing games. And you can say that started back then with San Antonio and Popovich when he decided to rest Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker a game against Miami there was a national TV game. That was about a whole decade ago. This is when this load management thing started. So it's always been a trend where guys have just constantly just taken off. Some of them, half of them don't even be hurt. And some of them really do be hurt. And it sucks for the ones that's hurt because it's like, well, I'm really hurt. But you got guys like Ben Simmons, ain't nothing wrong with him. He's just sitting on the bench because of his mental health. Not hurt or anything. You get paid these millions of dollars to play, and you guys don't play. That's why this rule was created in the first place. That's why. And that's why y'all signed off on it. Now you have the Paul Georges, the Kawhi Leonards, the Anthony Davis. Those guys, they have played majority of their team's games this season because they want the awards. So it had the awards of the 65 games. It takes the good with the bad. You get the injuries. Now Joel Embiid won't be able to qualify for MVP because he's going to be out a while. And he's at the 65 game limit already. But you have the Paul Georges, Kawhi Leonard, and Anthony Davis. They'll qualify for those awards because they played majority of their games this season. And I think Kawhi has only missed like 3 or 4 games this season. So that's why this was created. It's the good with the bad. But again, if you don't like something, don't sign off on it. Y'all can come up with another way. And the other thing I want to address is these guys scoring 60 points and losing. You had Cat score 60 points, lost to Charlotte. You had Devin Booker score 60 points. And he lost to Indiana. You just had Steph Curry Friday night or Saturday night. He scored 60 against the Hawks. He lost. These guys are scoring 60 and 70 points and they're losing. That's not a good look on the NBA. But these guys are doing this because they've changed so many rules for the offense to have all this freedom of movement and for the offense to have all this freedom that the defensive players can't do anything. You can't put your hand on these guys. You can't touch these guys. You can't defend these guys. So that's why these guys are scoring this amount of points. Now it seems like they're trying to talk about, let's change some of the rules again so the defense could be a factor again. You shouldn't have never changed those rules in the first place for the offense to have all this type of freedom. Now all these defenses have a disadvantage because every time they try to do something, the referee's blowing the whistle. So now you want to change everything back to the way it was. It seems like, are y'all going to, one day, the NBA, y'all going to get it right. But y'all messed up on giving the offense all this freedom to do whatever they want. Then these guys scoring all these points, but they're still losing. That's another bad look on the NBA. These teams ain't even playing defense no more, and it's because of y'all, because these guys can't do anything because they're prohibited to do anything. If not, it's going to be a whistle blown. That's all I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think on the 65 game limit to get the in-season awards. Let me know what you guys think about the Tony Snell situation and his family. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will be back with you guys either tomorrow or Wednesday to talk about my Super Bowl pick.